Do I have stories? Depends. What type of story are you looking for? Like life stories or? I have plenty of those. Well, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but we grew up in Southeast Alaska. And when I was a little baby, I was living in Sitka with my mom and my father. And they were living outside of town. Way outside of town, in the middle of the wild. Along the shores at the base of a mountain. And one day, while my mom and the other people living with us, the other co-workers, because we were running my parents were running a fish hatchery, while they made a run into town for the weekend to get supplies, it was just me and my dad. And one night my dad woke up. He was just in his whitey-tighties, sleeping in his bed, and he hears this noise, and he realizes what it is, and he runs into my room, sees me standing in my crib, saying, "What's that? What's that?" He grabs me and runs outside. Turns out, because we're living at the base of a mountain, the mountain's covered in trees, and there was an avalanche. The trees were collapsing onto the lower trees, which was causing those trees to fall. And so the trees started collapsing, and they started crashing all over our house. My dad, he grabbed me. You know, he's still in his whitey-tighties. I'm in my diaper. He runs down to the boat, and he's just staying in the boat in the middle of the water as trees collapse for 2 days, destroying our home and his co-worker's home. After waiting for a couple days, he ended up going back up. Remember, this is in Alaska, so it's pretty cold in the evenings. Well, it's cold all day around, but I mean, especially in the evenings. And he's keeping me warm in life jackets, and he's just sitting there, wearing in his skivvies. And so, after a couple days, he goes back onto the shore after the trees kind of calm down, and he's looking for stuff to just for some clothes or something. And hold on. Oh no, why I should have buffed up. And he managed to get I guess it was a Led Zeppelin t-shirt for himself, and he ended up having to use that for diapers for me. I remember him telling me that specifically, because he couldn't get the diapers. And there was apparently a tree that collapsed right, I guess it was across my crib. So if he didn't wake up to get me, I would have been dead. But after a couple days, the plane arrived. He had to attach me to in a carrier in his back, and he brought me up the mountain after everything stopped falling, and he had to call for help at I guess it was a telephone tower at the top, or some sort of antenna. And so I'm trying to stay alive while telling the story. I'll go rest up here. He called in for help, and then the plane came and landed. It was a bush plane, landed in the water by the pier, and my mom hopped out. She came running down, grabbed me out of my dad's arms, and just left my dad there. And that's pretty much what happened to our home. Avalanche destroyed it. And after our home got destroyed, we ended up moving back to my mom's island and living there. So that's the first time I almost died. we used to live outside of town, like way outside of town. We lived on an island. There was a town there, and we lived on the opposite end of the island, away from the town. Again, mainly because my dad's job was right there. And I had friends that would come out and visit every once in a while. Like my mom would go into town, meet with her friends. You know, these are her friends that she grew up with. And then, their kids would ride with us back to our place. And we'd be playing outside, dressed as G.I. Joes or something, and reenacting epic battles and stuff. And, well, there was one time when a friend and I were playing in the woods nearby, and I was climbing up a tree, and I slipped and fell, and the hood of my jacket got caught on a broken branch, or, you know, like a little nub of a branch sticking out. And my coat was completely zipped up, and I was just sitting there hanging in there. The zipper was flipped over to where I couldn't unzip it, and it was just, you know, kind of digging into my neck. And so my friend, he was there, and I told him, leave me, go get my dad for help. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna leave you. It was like super traumatic. And then he goes to my feet, and he puts me on his shoulders and lifts me up. And yeah, I can't breathe at all. I'm choking there. And he lifts me up and saves my life. I'm able to get my hood off the branch, fall down, and I'm gasping for breath, but he saved me. And that was my childhood friend. That was actually his family was also the one that lived with us as the trees destroyed our homes. It was his family. Yeah, that's the second time I almost died. So yeah, there's a couple stories for you. Let's see. Oh, I guess I'm done with the quest. Well, look at that. Time flies when you're telling stories.